Hey folks, welcome back. Glad you're here. So it's been a really busy morning. It's just afternoon right now. Me and my stepdad just split a whole ton of big oak. Heavy, folks, really heavy. So we spent the morning doing that. So I wanna ask you for what you think happened to me the other morning. Now, the other morning I was on my way to work, and it was about 3 o'clock in the morning. It was black dark. It was a very, very clear night. I could see all kinds of stars, and it was about 56 degrees, so it was rather warm. And I was driving along, and all of a sudden, it felt, well, it was like when rain first starts, it comes down in big droplets, right? And I'm like, well, that's strange. It's got a clear sky, so I leaned ahead and looked out of my windshield, looked up at the sky, still could see all kinds of stars. So I knew it wasn't rain, and it picked up. And it was almost like, when you drive on newly laid tar patchwork, and how it your tires kind of kick it up, the loose particles up, and it goes underneath your vehicle, right? Irritating. It sounded like that, but there was no patchwork there at all. So I'm like, that is really strange. Then it got really, really loud, folks. And in my headlights, I could see things falling from the sky in front of my head, like snow or sleet. You know how or rain, you can see that in your headlights, right? So I'm like, what is that? And it was really, really dark colored. And it was coming down pretty hard, folks. So I'm like, that is really, really weird. Maybe it was just a bunch of bugs. Maybe I went through a bug swarm, a beetle swarm, or something like that. So I slowed down, and I could see it. It was bouncing off my windshield. It was bouncing off my vehicle. It was bouncing off the road in front of me. And they weren't very big, folks. They weren't very big at all. And I couldn't imagine what that was. And I drove about 5 miles in that. And then I just came out of it. It was the weirdest thing. So I don't know what that was. It looked black. It was small, like maybe sleet. For those of you in the northern part of where you get snow or whatnot, it was almost like the size of sleet, and it almost had a glisten to it. It didn't leave any marks on my vehicle. It didn't leave any marks on my windshield. When I got to the next exit, I pulled over and to see if there was anything at the base of my windshield by my hood, where snow and sleet and stuff collects. There was nothing there. So I don't know, folks. I don't know what was falling from the sky at 3 o'clock the other morning. That was black. It was not sticky. It was so black. It looked like it should have hit and stuck. It had that sheen to it. So if anybody has any suggestions, I don't know. Like I said, it didn't do any damage to my vehicle. I could see it bouncing off my vehicle. I could see it bouncing off the road. And I was the only one on the road. There was no headlights. I never even met anybody on the northbound lane. I was going southbound. Never even saw headlights during that time. What I should have done, hindsight is 2020. What I should have done is stopped right there where there was no traffic, and I should have maybe gotten out. I don't know. Maybe I should have got pelted to death, right? So they weren't bugs. It was not sleet. It was not snow. It was not hail. It was dark colored. It was kind of shiny in the headlights, and it was small, folks, and it came down really, really hard. Now, the only thing I could think, what it looked like to me as I was driving, the closest thing I can come to it is burnt pieces or melted pieces of black plastic, like little beads. So that's what it reminded me of. So could it have been the remnants of maybe a meteor burning up? It could have been. It could have been. So if anybody has any ideas on what happened, what fell from the sky the other morning here in Maine, on I-95, I'd like to have your opinions. So I picked some more kale. I cut some more kale, and I picked a handful of string beans. I sent them up to my sister Barb. And I think what I will do, I have a tomato plant that was damaged in the garden. I'm not sure. It looked like it had been stepped on. Or we've had some horrible winds. Maybe it didn't harden off enough and maybe it snapped. I don't know. I have everything walking through my garden, folks. So I put that in water and now it's got some nice roots to it, so I'm going to transplant that. We're supposed to get some rain. I don't know, folks. The rain is teasing us, something awful here. And I've got to stack some wood. And at some point I've got to go down and register my vehicle. So trying to figure out, I can register my vehicle when it's raining, right? I can transplant when it's raining. I'd rather not pile and stack wood when it's raining. I'd rather not do that. So I guess this is short. I guess it is really short. There's really nothing to say other than what I have already said about whatever fell from the sky. I'm really curious. I really kicked myself in the butt for not stopping. Next time I will, but it probably won't happen again, right? So I hope you all are staying tuned to what is happening with our food, what is happening with the whole world crisis, all the perceived threats. We have to stay on top of that, folks. We have to form our own excuse me, opinion and try to figure out what's happening, because they're not going to tell us, right? They're not going to tell us. So we just have to do our thing and make the best of what we got and try to get ahead as much as we can. And I think the first thing I'm going to do is go pick a bunch of, at least a handful of raspberries. That'll be my lunch. So we just need to stay on top of things. It doesn't do any good to get all excited. It doesn't do any good to panic. It doesn't do any good to have it raise your anxiety. We have to keep plugging away because we know what is coming. And for those that have their heads stuck in the sand, and my goodness, folks, there's a lot more than I thought. I thank you for stopping by. Come back again. And if you know what that may have been that was falling from the sky here in mid-Maine, 3 o'clock that morning when the skies were clear, I'd like to know what you think on that. And see you next time.